It's an echo.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell,
And I am Sunita Mitchell.
and we are the Perfect Family Blend. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight.
Yes, tonight. Thank you for joining us. I feel like we haven't been here. We missed last week.
Yeah, we missed last week.
It's been really busy, guys. Like school and Tony's job. Like, it's just a lot to try to juggle, and sometimes, something has to give.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what we're talking about is like that whole last time we were here, we was talking about you really can't balance. You just have to prioritize things in your life because nothing is ever equally balanced, right?
Right.
So first, we have to tell you guys that the brunch was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It was awesome.
It was so good. Your girl was tired, but it was good. I mean, the decorations came out fabulous. Like, pretty much, like, I have to even pat myself this time. Like, because I hardly ever do that, right? I hardly ever do that, pat myself on the back. But things turned out so nice. I mean, it was really, the food was fabulous. So if you need a caterer, Elite Creations by Trish. Oh my God, the food was so good. It was so good. So you can look her up. She's on Instagram. Our vendors were fabulous.
Yes, we had some awesome vendors.
Yeah, we had some really, really nice vendors. So we're going to post those on our page so that you can patronize them because they were really, really, really nice. And I mean, their products were nice, but their personalities and their just being a part of everything was nice. And then the Chronicles of an Open Womb. Oh my goodness. That was so powerful. Please make sure that you go. It's by Sharon Terrell. It's SHARRON and Terrell, TYRREL. I think it's just one L. Anyway, she has the Chronicles of an Open Womb. An empty room. Chronicles of an Empty Womb. Powerful demonstration, dramatization of dealing with loss and dealing with fertility challenges. Brings it all to life on the things that we just say. And as we said before, Tony and I, we were very involved in our drama ministry and our dance ministry, in which I danced at the brunch. And this drama piece, it just really pulled everything together. And I think it just represented Anaya's project in such a way that it impacted everybody who was in the building. It was great. I mean, I'm just like in awe. I can't wait. We'll make sure to share when she's going to do the full production. I believe she said it was going to be in Philadelphia.
Right.
I think. And then she's looking for a space to host it here. So if you guys know a place that can, it's basically the Chronicles of an Empty Womb is monologues of different situations. So if you know a place that's in the DMV that she can come to and you're willing to, share that space for her, she's definitely open to bringing the Chronicles of an Empty Womb to an area. She even said it didn't need to even be a large place. It just needed to be a place where she could have a stage, have a spot for the actors, and she can tell you more about it. But if you know a place, please put it in the notes in your in this feed, and we'll definitely get it to her. Okay, so that was the brunch, and then now we have the walk coming up. Guys, we need your support on October 12th at Watkins Park, which is right in Upper Marlboro. The tickets, the registration is $35. And what is this walk for? The walk is for Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, which is the whole month of October. The specific day is October 15th, but we have the whole month to bring awareness to pregnancy and infant loss. And so one of the things that we're doing to honor those babies who have gone to be with the Lord.
Right.
Is to have this walk in memory of them. So we're bringing awareness, we're supporting the families, and we're also supporting families who are going through fertility challenges. All the proceeds are going to our programs so that we can do more things like the brunch. We can do more support groups. We can do more of sending the boxes. Oh my goodness. I have just really just been giving the boxes away because there's no need in having the boxes there ready, and I know people are in need of them because nobody's like paying for them. Right. So all of that money, the $35 is the same amount as one of our boxes. So each person who walks is actually donating to one of our memory boxes. And that gives us an opportunity. And when I say these boxes are crafted in a way to really support families emotionally. For example, the one that I just sent not too long ago, last week, she cried when she got her box. She just received her box on this Monday. We mailed it on Friday. And that $35 really includes the box and shipping. So when she got her box, she immediately inboxed me because I don't think she knew exactly what she was getting. I just told her I was sending her a box. She immediately did the messenger and was like, oh my gosh, this box is beautiful. She cried, and she cried even more because she saw that the bracelet that we have for the husbands.
Yes.
And she started crying because her husband was saying how he feel like nobody's acknowledging that he lost the baby too. And so she could not wait until he got home so that she could present the poem that you wrote, the letter that you wrote to the dad, and the bracelet.
Which I'm wearing right now.
Which he's wearing right now. And she was just like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. Thank you so much. So these are some of the things that we're doing with the Naya's Project. So when we're asking you to join us on the walk, come out and support Anaya's Project. Come out and support me and Tony. Come out and just support these families. This is what your $35 is going to. It's going so that we can continue to spread awareness and make impact. And I felt like at that moment, impact. And what would have happened if I didn't mail her that box? I didn't know her. She's all the way somewhere, I think, Louisiana. So I don't know her. But I mailed her the box. And I want to be able to do that more.
Yes.
And so with your contributions to Anaya's Project, we'll be able to do that and bring impact. But we still want you to not just donate, but we actually want you to come and be a part of the community.
Yeah, participate.
Because
that's one of the key things that we need also, not just the donations, as you mentioned, but we need volunteers. Mm-hmm. We need volunteers, and we need people to spread the word out about Anaya's Project, to really tell people, because it might not directly affect you and your family, but guess what? If you spread the word, that word is going to reach a family that is dealing with pregnancy and infant loss, or is dealing with fertility challenges. And once they catch wind of Anaya's Project, now they have a safe place that they could come to and actually get the help that they need and the resources they need available to help them during this time, because this is not a short period of time kind of thing, short-term thing. This is a day-by-day process. And guess what? You said it right there. It's a lifetime that you're going to think about this. It never goes away. You're never going to stop thinking about your angel babies that you lost. So please, 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 we need your help to just spread the word. You will help us so much just by telling people about Anaya's Project.
Right. And lastly, if you have organizations, schools, churches, that we can partner with, that is also a good way of helping, because it's not always that you necessarily have to come out of pocket, but like just sharing the information with people, with your organizations. You know, a lot of people work at different places. Like we've met people who worked at Progressive. We've met people who worked in all these different places. You guys have the connections. All we need is the opportunity to come in and speak to them, and we can take it from there prepared. But if you make the connections, then that will help move us along with promoting and funding. So, okay, so we're really excited. So as you can see, if you go to anayasproject.org or you text 345-345-ANGEL, it will send you the direct link to register to run. It's at runsignup.com, and then you would just type in Anaya's Project, and you will see our run. And I'll put it in the link so that you can look at that. And it's from Saturday, so it's pretty early. Registration starts at 8. Watkins Park has a strict time. 8 o'clock registration. The walk will begin at 12. At 9. The walk is over at 12.
Right.
So it's like that's it. So you can walk it, you can run it. If you got a bike, you can ride it. Whatever you want to do. It's a 5K walk or run or bike. And then we even have something for the kids if we have all the kids there.
Right, the 1K.
The 1K run.
Right.
So join us.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
That's good.
Right. So we want to get on into what we were talking about as far as my shirt was talking about birthing your dreams. Listen, guys, as you can see, we are very passionate about Anaya's Project. We're very passionate about the Perfect Family Blend. We're very passionate about just life, right? I'm passionate about what I do as far as my coaching that I'm really going to start doing. And I'm passionate about just even my virtual metamorphosis, which is a new business. So we're talking about birthing dreams. Like Tony hates when I give these adjectives to the type of entrepreneur that I am. I'm not just an entrepreneur. I am a serial entrepreneur. So Tony be like, why do you need that? You just could say entrepreneur. Because most of the time when you say you're an entrepreneur, most people think you have one business. But a serial entrepreneur is someone who has more than 3. And I have more than 3. So it's like, so that's why I say it's a serial entrepreneur, because I'm about birthing my dreams. So having virtual metamorphosis, everybody, that's my new business. You can find me on Facebook. That is my virtual assistant business. When doors don't open, I always just seem to look for opportunities to use my gifts on their own. So God was like, well, in the meantime, if doors not opening, just use your gifts. So how can I use my gifts? Okay, I'll use it and be a virtual assistant.
Right.
I help business owners, churches, executives, other business owners or coaches, authors, people who have a whole bunch of things going on and they just need somebody to come and help them so that they can stay on track. That's what I do. I'm also added in there the personal assistant. So if you need somebody to be your right-hand person, I'm that person, right? I can do that. I can help you run your errands. I can help do some of the things that you just don't have the time to do during the day. I can help you by being your personal assistant. So if you go to virtualmetamorphosis.com, you'll learn more about all the things and how I can help serve you in your area. But that's birthing your dream. And maybe you don't want to be a serial entrepreneur where you just like the IRS see your name again, here you come looking for another EIN. And it's like, and that's fine. You don't have to be that. But maybe your dream is to write a book. Maybe it's to move up to the next level in your corporate job or your business. Somebody wrote something. Or maybe it's to expand the business that you have. What did he say? I can't see.
Hey, definitely reach out to us.
Oh. And it's like, so birthing your dreams, like God has given us so many things. He's gifted us with some tools and some talents and some gifts. And sometimes they lay dormant because we either afraid to step into it or we're don't want to. I mean, it's almost like the fear of maybe being rejected, but also the fear of being successful. What if I do this and I blow up and it blows up faster than I was anticipated? How am I going to handle that, right? Or what if I do this and it doesn't work?
Right.
What are people going to say? Well, who cares? This is you birthing your vision. It's better to just birth it out instead of keeping it in and being like, I wonder what would have happened, as opposed to birthing it out and then just say, okay, I tried it. It didn't work. Okay. I'm going to either tweak it or I just need to just not. Or you go into it. This is another thing. Or you go into it and you realize that it wasn't what you thought it was going to be and you don't like it. That's okay too. It's all a part of the process.
Right. And one thing also, coming as a spouse, I'm on the supporting end of all these dreams and the ideas. It's just like every single day there's a new idea or ideas that I hear every single day. And the one thing I make sure to always be careful about is to not kill her dreams. Because you could sometimes, as a spouse, you could become so practical and so matter of fact that you just like, you know what, you need to kill all that. You need to just do X, Y, and Z and get on the same page.
Yeah.
And then, what good would that do?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you want to make sure that if your spouse has an ambition to try to achieve something in life, you just want to just encourage them to keep moving forward. And Sania, she's been doing this entrepreneurial walk for
5 years.
5 years. So it's kind of like, okay, this is, you want to do this? Okay, cool. Virtual metamorphosis. Hey, you want to do the coaching thing?
You named it, but he helped me name it.
Yeah, I helped.
Because I love butterflies. I love the transformation. So that's what virtual metamorphosis helps people.
I got credit for.
Yeah, you got.
I even came up with the mission statement. So.
Yeah, he did. What's the mission statement?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Turning the ordinary into the extraordinary.
But
yes.
I came up with the name and the mission. So that was my key contribution.
That's my 2 cents.
So once you start blowing up, I need my percentage. I need my cut.
But it's true. Sometimes I always think about when God, I just remember God saying, "What's in your hand?" And sometimes your back gets up against the wall. It's almost like the lady in the Bible who had when Elijah came in, she was just like, all I got is a little thing of oil, and I'm gonna fix this, and I'm gonna feed it to my child, and we're gonna die. Well, it wasn't until he came, until Elijah came, right? It was Elijah came in, and he said, just get all the jars, all the vessels, and just get all the ones you can. And she just kept pouring. She didn't know what she had, right? She didn't know that she had all these different things in her house. And so I just remember that God was like, what's in your hand? What is it that you carry that you could use to generate money, to generate what you think you need? Because sometimes we always think we have to go externally, but really it's some things that we can do. Like even with thinking about when we was talking about getting part-time jobs, right? And we still talking about birthing your dreams, because sometimes when you birthing the dreams, you need those, what we call it, the silent funders. Your job. Your job. You sometimes need that job to help fund your dreams. So don't look at it as it's a bad thing if you did have to get a job. Because I had to tell myself, okay, well, dang, if I go back, that means all my businesses, they failed or they're not succeeding. But no, those are sometimes things that help you fund your dreams, and that's okay too. So start looking at, if you got that entrepreneurial spirit biting at you, just, take your time, grow your business to a place where you can finally go ahead and take that big leap. And if you're doing both, continue to do both and you might just want to do both. There are some people who absolutely love their jobs. They love their careers. They love what they're doing. They have absolutely no desire whatsoever to quit. And that's fine too. But they also have this, I don't call it a side hustle, but I call it their business on the outside that they also have birth. And you can do both. Right. You don't have to choose one or the other. You can do both if you can manage it right. And then if not, if it gets to the point where you have got to a point where you need more help, that's when you get a virtual assistant. You see? You get a virtual assistant, that can help you do those extra things while you're working on your, I can't say 9 to 5 because you work from 9 to 8, 9 to 10 sometimes. So it's just like, but while you're working your main job, your other business, your business doesn't have to fail. So when you're birthing those dreams, don't feel bad if you have to stick to your career for some time. That's when you have to do what Tony likes to do, the strategic plan. How and what do you need to do what goals do you need to meet in order to walk off? To just be like, you know what, I'm done. I've gotten this. How many contracts do you need to have? When do you need to have it? What's the consistency that needs to occur in order for you to be like, okay, if you're married, to be able to go to your spouse and say, okay, I've gotten these types of contracts and they're lasting this long. And so I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to maintain this level right now for the next 2 years. That'll make your spouse be like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. As opposed to, well, I don't know what's going to happen at the end of 2020. They might look at you sideways. It might be a hard sell.
But see, that's a key thing that you just mentioned is the communication aspect. Because, just looking at the situation, the dynamics of where we at right now is, okay, I got my professional job. And one of the things that I want to do, from the professional job aspect of it, the professional career, is I just reached 15 years this year in the federal government. Years. 15 years. And one of the key milestones for me is, hey, I want to at least do 20. Once I get that 20 mark, it's just like, okay, what do I still want to do this?
Right.
Or do I just want to be like, you know what, I'm just going to just go out and just do my own thing. But before I come to that decision, I'm going to talk to you first.
Right. I'm looking like, what?
As the year gets closer, it's going to be like, hey, babe, I'm really thinking about, branching out. I got all this knowledge in my head. And, 20 years, I'll be 44. So at that point, I just like, hey, I'm tired of working for somebody. Time for me to work for myself. So and then too, and with you, the thing I appreciate with you is you definitely communicate with me.
I'm looking like, what? You up there, so that you have to be there or above, right? Because, I need to make sure that I'm stepping up too. It's not all on him, but, I know that he wouldn't want to leave and go under where he is. Like, whatever he does would need to generate where he is or above.
Right.
I just know how you think. So I know you wouldn't go. And even if you did, it wouldn't be too many notches down. Just for your own self.
Right.
So, but he's not going to be like next year, okay, babe, I'm walking off. What? Wait a minute. No. Are we doing the illustration for Sam? Because that's Sam. I'm walking off. No, you're not. You're not walking off. So let's talk about that because, you did kind of, so how did we get to this point before I get to my question? Well, really, for us, it was economics. So when we had Ari, and then I stayed home for a year, and I was like, I wanted to stay home for a year and be with her, because I knew how much it would. First, it started out 6 months. Then I was like, let's just go ahead. When they told me I could stay for a year, I was like, okay, I take it. I'm going for a year. Tony, we can go for a year. Leave without pay. Okay, he's like, I can do this for a year, but you're going back. I said, okay. And then, bam, we expected Sam. Sam came, born in June. They was like, you can do another 6 months. because, it's a whole nother baby. So 6 months. I was like, okay. But then we started tallying up that daycare costs. And I was like, oh, man, and then the wear and tear on the car and all of that. So we just decided that I would stay home. And it was like, I'll just stay home because that'll be half of whatever I was making. I was, just a little tadpole in the pool. I was just 11. So, and so I was just like, that's going to be one of my whole checks is just going to daycare. So I was like, we'll just stay home. And we thought it would be the opportune time for me to step into the entrepreneur. And it was kind of tough at first. I took a whole year to get it together. It took me a year of getting my business plan, getting what I wanted to do, what I wanted to present. So it took some time before I launched my first business, which was the daycare and Bright Sparkles.
Right.
And so with Bright Sparkles, we were able to take care of our children. It was great. I was full. Life was wonderful. Everybody do think that you just rolling in the dough with childcare. Let me tell you, it is really one of the most, right there with our teachers. I mean, it's, I'm not putting me with the same teachers or anything, but you're really not getting paid enough to do what you're doing when it comes to the life of little children. And nothing bothers me more. I'm not going to get on a soapbox tonight about childcare, but when you do the math, most of the time you're only paying maybe $5 an hour for your child to be somewhere for 11 hours a day most of the time. So it's really not that much. I know it looks like a lot when you're paying, $200 or $300 a week. That's like $40 a day, and your child is somewhere for 10. Sometimes some kids are there for 12 hours. So for me, when I did the math, it was like $3.50 an hour. And even if you had 6 kids, that's maybe $15 to $18 an hour, but not including insurance, the food, the expenses that come along with running a business, your overhead costs. Luckily for me, it was in my house, but still, you got to make sure you don't have time for the lights to be off. You ain't got time because them parents coming, right? Exactly. They coming. They don't want to hear about your light being off. They don't want to hear about the gas not on. They don't want to hear nothing about that. So all the overhead costs is usually what people are not thinking about, or the amount of hours. Like Tony would be like, go to bed. Like I would be up past the time. They go home at 6, but I didn't go to bed sometimes till like 10 or 11 because I'm getting their curriculum together. I'm getting their day planned.
We're cleaning up.
We're cleaning up. And it's the same thing with like our teachers. They're working late. You're doing a whole lot of stuff extra because you want them to have a good experience, right? A lot of field trips they went on, the parents didn't pay. Hello? And I would take them to Chick-fil-A, Pizza Hut, Popeyes. Like they were eating good. Like we would go out and Tony would be like, did you charge the parents that? No. But anyway, get off of that. But I'm just saying, because I was so passionate about it, it didn't matter. And so that's what it's going to cost you when you're talking about birthing your dreams. When you want to birth your dreams, sometimes to other people who are on the outside, they may not realize, hey Cheryl. They may not realize the cost that is taking you to birth your dream, right?
And there is costs.
Yeah.
And even, I don't care, you could have the most efficient, picture perfect business plan available. It still doesn't account for all the unexpected costs that comes up and the things that you have to, I didn't know you had to pay this for this particular license. And then the inspections that we had to have, and having a certain safety things in the house. So our house was very safe. It was very safe. I mean, it was top-notch safe, but at the same time, it costs a lot of money for those operating expenses.
And then we're only talking about the financial cost of birthing your dream, but it's also the cost of your family. Like, so here we are a blended family. We have a 4-year-old now. Well, oh, he's 5 now. 5 and a 6-year-old, and Dane was 17, and we had the 26-year-old. They were the main ones going in and out, but it was impacting them in the level of time that we were able to give them. So sometimes that sacrifice was, I couldn't go on all the field trips. Tony ended up having to go on the field trips. And one of the reasons why I closed, and that was not the easiest thing, because when I birthed that, I was very passionate about it. I love the kids. But you have to know when to let go of your dream too. Because once it starts becoming a nightmare, you know what I mean, where it's starting to really impact all of your family. And the reason why you birthed it was so that you could be with your family, or you could have that time. You have to kind of let it go when it's not serving. And this is something that Cheryl's still listening, that I've heard her say, you know, if it's not serving you anymore, you have to learn to cut it off. And that was kind of my defining moment was, is this serving me anymore? Is it serving its purpose on why I birthed it? And it's hard. One door closes, yep, another one opens. And sometimes you have to make that hard choice, because, I mean, and sometimes God will start showing you. I mean, when I tell you that these parents, they were getting promotions, they were getting relocated, they were like coming in, like they weren't even there long, you know, and then it was like, oh, I got promoted, I have to, you know, take my child out, and you know, and I don't know if I'm going to come back. Like, they weren't leaving because they didn't like me. And sometimes I kind of knew I should have let it go, but I wasn't ready to let it go. And it finally got to the point where I was like, I got to let this go, because I don't know what's on the other side. And even with that, you know, I'm going to be honest, because people do, oh, girl, you making a lot of money. No, it was $230 a week. Okay, $230 a week, and by like Wednesday, that was done, right? And we got 4 kids. 2 or 3 of them now will be in private school. So we had to make some decisions, and it didn't look great. But I was like, if I'm really going to birth my dreams, if I'm really going to go all in on all these things, I had to let something go, because that one thing that I was holding on to was also becoming a hindrance. I couldn't go to trainings. I couldn't go to things that I wanted to go to. I couldn't go to my kids' school like I wanted to. Like, this was the whole purpose in working from home, was to be there for them. But I would feel so guilty on closing to go be with my own kids. Who want that? I might as well go back and work for the government, where I just be like, I can't take off. I'm right back into the prison that I was the prison. I'm back into the prison that I thought I was released from. And this was a prison that I was building for myself. So you have to know when you're birthing the dream, you also have to know when to let go of one, so that you can, Cheryl said it's called elevation.
Right. And the one thing that I want to say too, when you was going through your process of, you know, seeing the parents come and the parents go, is, you know, I know for me, I saw, okay, it's time to let this go. And I was just like, don't she see it's time to let this go?
I was like, no.
But I didn't force it. I didn't push it. You know, I would, you know, if you ask me, babe, this is not working, I would say, well, you know, it's probably about time. And then, but I left the decision up to you. Because again, this was your dream, this was your vision. You helped it to manifest. It went through its life cycle, and went through this, and it was closing out. And I could see it was closing out, but I saw that you wasn't ready to close it out yourself. And that was a decision only that you can make. So once you finally made the decision, and you made the decision, but it was still, okay, I made the decision, but I haven't set a date yet. But when you actually set the date, that's when I knew, okay, she's finally getting ready to transition from this and go into the next thing that God had for you. So,
right. And I would say the part about birthing the dream is you're going to have accountability people, and like really strong accountability folks that's going to hold you accountable. And I think that was really the only reason why I was able to close, was because you started holding me accountable to the date. And I kept trying to give him a week, and let me give him. And I did. I was supposed to close on August 2nd, but I ended up going to August 9th, and that was the worst week ever. Like, it was the longest week. And I was just like, why didn't I listen to him? I should have just closed on the 2nd.
You heard this. I got on social media. She said, why did she listen to me?
Cheryl said, oh, that's truly a supportive husband, Tony. True. Like, it's hard, and that's why you have to have that accountability. Otherwise, I probably still would have been open. Because she wasn't trying to go. It was down to one kid. And I was like, and it was like everybody left, but I knew it was a test on, was I going to do what I knew in my heart to do, or was I going to keep holding on? Because this one parent was not going. She was not leaving.
No, she wasn't.
She was begging me not to close. Like, so everybody else just kind of left. It was kind of easy, and I was like, well, God, if you just make her go, like, if she just come in and be like, I'm leaving, and he was like, no, this one you going to have to be obedient and do what I told you to do. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay. And when you're birthing their dream, the next point is you may not always know what the next step is. You just may have like this one thing, but you have no idea how it's going to manifest, right? You just have no clue, but it's okay. That's where you have to kind of go around to, getting out networking. And Cheryl, she was saying earlier that, what did she say? She said elevation requires discomfort. And I think for me, I was very comfortable, even though I wasn't making no money. I wasn't making no money, but I was very comfortable. It was stressing him out, but even with that little bit of money, it was comfort to me because I felt like I could step in to help in between different things. I'm laughing because it was just like, I was really trying to make it work, guys. I really was, and it wasn't. And so you have to know when you step out. I really don't know now, like everything. But what I do know is I am crystal clear, Cheryl, on who I am to serve, along with my husband with the Perfect Family Blend, but also my passion with helping women who have experienced pregnancy loss and going through their fertility challenges and journey and helping them through their grief. Like, that I know. Like, I am up. Tony be like, girl, if you don't go to bed, I done made these bracelets. I done made these boxes. I have made, like, all of these different ways, and I'm trying to serve the community that I know that I'm called to. But I also know I need to make money, right? Tony's like, you cannot do everything for free. And I just go back to all of the different things. So when you don't know, you have to get around coaches like Cheryl or who, other kinds of coaches. Some people, if you don't, just inbox me. I know a couple of people. Cheryl, if you're trying to speak, she's a speaker coach. But you gotta get into investment, right? So,
right.
See what she says.
And then one point that I want to, point out is the patience aspect of it. So, as you know, for me, the husband right now is kind of like, as Anita is going through and feeling her way through and not knowing what is expected. Guess what? I'm feeling my way through this too, because I'm just like, okay, it's like, what now? Come on.
Right.
You need to generate something.
Right.
Come on now. But so while she's feeling her way through everything, I'm feeling my way through it, and it could, I won't lie to you, it could get very frustrating at times because it's just like, come on. But at the same time, just like I mentioned before, you don't want to kill the dream before you actually see the manifestation of the dream. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'm in this holding pattern. It's like being on the plane and you're on the tarmac and you're ready to take off, but you're not given the clearance to take off yet. So you're just sitting there and you're just waiting until you get the green light to just go ahead and take off. So that's where we at right now. That's what it feels like. And just like Cheryl said on there, it is not comfortable. It is not comfortable at all. We just want to just go ahead. We on the plane. We about to take off. We flying. We elevating high, and everything is good. You know,
but it's a process.
It's a process.
Like she said here. The how is where your faith comes in, and faith in your way into your next season. She says. She said it was a great analogy, what you said. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like sometimes you just, like when you're birthing your dream, another thing is sometimes it's multiple things that you're going to have to do until you, like, get to that point. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's definitely stepping out of your comfort zone and being in that uncomfortable place. And she says it's about being on the plane, sitting on the tarmac. Yeah, sometimes you're just waiting for that clearance for them to be like, go. Like, go forward. You know, like the little people, you know, they're down there and they don't look like they got an important job, but they're the ones that's like, go. You know what I mean? The pilot ain't moving until that person tells him or her, go. And that's how we are. It's like, okay, God, I closed that door. Another door is opening. I'm sitting here on the tarmac. All these things that I've written down, like I've gotten so many things that's written on boards. And it's like, okay, if I try this, then will this work? And I'm not going to lie. I know that, like, it's a lot of pressure because it's like, I put things out there. When you're birthing your dreams, sometimes you put things out there and it's like crickets. And even if you followed all of your things that you've been taught, sometimes it just seems like, what am I doing wrong? Right? What am I missing? And then sometimes you do have to own up. I did own up. Remember I said I was inconsistent. I allowed fear to hinder me. I wasn't very confident in what I should do because I had felt like, did I niche myself down into like the little crack in the wall that I just did it too much? Like, and so Tony gets on me all the time. I am an overthinker.
You are.
I overanalyze. And so when you birthing your dreams, sometimes try to avoid overthinking.
Yeah, and you know, it's...
Thanks, Cheryl, for joining us.
You know, and you know, one of the things about overthinking, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too. You could just really just overthink something, and it's the most simple thing possible. Right. But sometimes you just have to, and you tell me this sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta take the half complete and just go with it. Yeah. You know, and you know, eventually, the half complete will become complete once you start getting the feedback necessary to help you to make it complete. So it doesn't always, your dreams, when you branch out, it doesn't have to be perfect when you branch out. You know, you just have to branch out.
Just got to branch out.
You know, you take a step and then God will help you to take another step forward, and then everything will start coming together as you keep taking steps.
Yeah. And so that's pretty much about birthing your dreams. I mean, it's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you're going to be on that tarmac waiting. Waiting for the takeoff point. That was a really good analogy too. You know, sometimes you're waiting and it's okay to just sit there because it's better to not take off before you're told and you crash, because that's worse too. Mm-hmm. So I think that's always, and how do we know when it's time to fly? It's like, for those who like have our faith, you got to be listening. You got to be listening to God on when you should move and when you shouldn't. And like I said, if you get you a coach or someone a mentor, someone who will walk with you through your process, so they can be like, whoa, you're doing too much, or whoa, you need to pick this up. You know what I mean? You need to be, let's go, come on, let's go. Mm-hmm. Like, this is good, you need to move faster. So I think that in having your spouse, you know, if you have a supportive spouse who's like, listen, they want to listen. I know sometimes for me that's hard because I know Tony works all day, and so he's tired. And so for me, it's like, what you call it, rapid fire?
Rapid fire.
Right. He calls it rapid fire. Rapid fire means that I'm just like just giving him a whole bunch of stuff at one time. And so I've learned, because we're almost at year 10.
Woo!
Year 10. And so I've learned to just kind of wait and see how he feels, see if he's really up to it. And now I ask him, can we talk about a few things? You know, and he'll say yes. Or if he gives me the yes, then I know. Even with that yes, I know to like just kind of wait and like I just be like, okay, let me wait, and maybe today's not a good day to talk to him because, you know, and especially if I know, like, today you had a presentation, you've been working on trying to get some deadlines. Like, if I know this stuff in advance, then I definitely don't try to bog him down. But if I really, really need him to make a decision, I keep it as quick as possible. No PowerPoint, but I keep it as quick as possible. I keep it as quick as possible. So with our last 10 minutes, you know, it's almost back to school time.
Yes.
And you know, that's going to play a role too for those of you who have children and you're trying to birth your dreams. You know, the summer everybody's relaxed and laid back. You know, don't have to worry. You're not on a real big schedule.
Kids are eating all the food in the house.
You're wondering, like, what do you do all day? Because I know you're not asking your teacher for snacks all day. You know, you got a set time for lunch, a set time for breakfast. You know, they may give you an afternoon snack. But why are you eating inside a house and home all summer? But anyway, so birthing your dreams sometimes may slow down because now you got homework, you got, you know, after school sports, after school rehearsals, if they're involved in stuff. So sometimes that's going to take a little bit more time to get something, and it's also going to be the sacrifice because now you might have to get up earlier because now, you know, you might have to, if you're writing a book, you might have to get up earlier so you can spend an hour writing your book in the morning. If you're not a night hawk like me, I've become a night hawk.
You became a night hawk.
I'd be up late now. I used to be like sleep 10 o'clock. Like, I'll be yawning like now, and usually be in the bed by 10. But anyway, so back to school is very trying. You know, we're talking about being in the mix. We're talking about being in a blended family. How do you handle back to school as a blended family?
And also, keep in mind, not only back to school for the kids, but some parents.
Parents going back to school.
Back to
That's
school
true.
For the fall semester.
Yeah.
So that's another dimension that you're adding right there. So how do you balance all
back
of
to
that?
school? So you're right. There's some parents going back to college and finishing up some courses. So how do you handle the back to school? Well, I always said this before. You need to have your calendars, your Google calendars, your whatever, you know, I don't know because I use Google, but you can use, MSN has a calendar, Outlook has a calendar. There are plenty of apps out there that has a calendar. It's going to be very key that you put everything on the calendar. Like today, I was about to sit down and put all the schools closing, all the delays, you know, when they got their half a days, when the end of the quarter, so I can make sure I'm watching Daniel. Daniel the most, you know. I mean, the youngest, they're in kindergarten and first grade.
Right.
We're pretty much helping them with their homework every day, so we know when they have projects and stuff. But for like the high schoolers and the middle schoolers, you know, most schools, parents, we got to be involved. So I know Prince George's County has schoolmax.org or .com. You need to make sure you have an account. The teachers have to put the grades in those so you can see when little Johnny or little Susie hasn't done their homework and they've been telling you every night, I don't have homework. I don't have homework. You ain't got no homework. No, she didn't give us no homework. But now you can go in the SchoolMax portal and you can see your child's homework and you can see whatever tests, whatever projects that they have, what grades they got. so you can be more proactive in the school year. So that's just one way. Making sure you registered and have an account for the school portal. Making sure that your calendars are all synced so that nothing gets lost. So that when you in school, so Tony mainly takes online courses, but there have been times when he actually had to go in. So that impacts, right? And it impacts us a lot because we got one car. So sometimes if he has to go, I have to make sure that I'm not doing anything so he can take the car. So it does. It is a lot of moving pieces, but I think that when you are proactive as far as you can be with knowing the schedule,
right,
and picking classes that you know is conducive to your, I know sometimes, I wanted to say, what I was going to say is conducive to your family schedule, but sometimes you do have to pick a class where, it might be little Susie's gymnastics class, and so you might have to make that sacrifice and, either drop your spouse off and, that spouse is going to miss Susie's gymnastics rehearsals, or maybe even miss some of those performances if they're on a certain night. But that's the sacrifice that you have to make because it's about the end goal, right?
Exactly.
And you have to remember and always talk as a family, which will bring me to my next point, is make sure that you, if you're not already having your family meetings, that you're all getting together and you're talking about the different things that's going on in the family. This way you guys can, as adults, can talk to your children and say, okay, daddy is about to go to school, mommy's about to go to school on this day. So just kind of like we did with our kids with the radio show. We got to go on Thursday nights to the radio station. So they know. Or when we go back, because we only got 2 more weeks here, but we'll still be coming back online every Thursday at 8 o'clock. It'll just be from our home. And and it's, again, we talk about birthing dreams, knowing when to let something go. We're letting this part go as well. So, but we'll be coming to you live from our home, still at 8:30 on Thursdays. And so you have to, by those family meetings, you have to, this is a good time to let your family know what is happening. And then the kids all know, and they'll come to expect it. Like our 5 and 6, but like it's Thursday. Okay, y'all going to do your radio show, right? So they know because we included them, and I think that also helps in the support because then your kids know. So if you have study nights, parents, if you know you're going to have study nights, it's important to tell your children that on certain nights, this is your study time and that you really need this quiet time so that you can study.
Right.
If you tell them, most of the time, children, and you're consistent, most of the time your children are going to respect that.
Exactly.
Of course, if you got small kids, you probably want to do it when they go to bed, which they should be in the bed by 8. Anyway, 8:30. So, but even with your spouse, it's letting your spouse know, babe, I know you want quality time. We're going to have to put quality time on this day because I'm going to study on this day. I mean, we're not telling you anything that we don't do. We actually have Tony's study time on the calendar. Sometimes he do it. Sometimes he don't. But it's his choice. That's his block of time. So if he doesn't use that block of time for what's on the calendar, then he doesn't.
Right.
But it's on the calendar for us to remember that we're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. So those are some tips. Making sure that you go to those back to school nights and that you are proactive with your teachers, your children's teachers, even your teenager. I'm saying children. Please know that I'm not leaving the teens out. I call everybody a child who's under 18. So even your teens, you want to make sure you're staying on top of them because sometimes we can give them so much freedom and thinking that they know what they're doing when really as they go up the ladder, they actually need you to participate more. Because at this point, if you got like upperclassmen, juniors, seniors, they really need you to stay on top of them about when they need to take their ACT or their SAT tests? When are they going to do the applications for the colleges? What are the things that they need in order to go to the colleges that they want? So you have to not let go of the reins, because sometimes parents, once kids, and I've been guilty of this sometimes, once they get to 11th grade or 12th grade, you're like, okay, you 17, you about to be 18, you gonna have to start making these decisions. But they don't know. They ain't never been 18.
Right.
They ain't never been to college. They ain't never filled out an application. Some of them ain't never had a job, so they ain't never filled out no application ever. So they really need you to help them, to guide them through this process. They really need you to be hands-on, because otherwise, we all know that teens are lazy. Some of them. You know, when it comes to certain things, they just be like, oh, yeah. Or, you know, they may roll their eyes. They may be like, not this again. I don't want to talk about it. But at the end of the day, when they get accepted into that college that they wanted to get into, they're going to really appreciate you. So make sure that you stay on top of them. Don't cut them no slack. Get them involved in extracurricular activities.
Yeah, because that's going to be very important when they start applying for these colleges.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to tell our 12th grader now. He's really going to have to get involved in something. And it don't always have to be a sport, but it can be something that, if you say you into graphics, I need you to be looking for a graphic camp, looking for somewhere where you're volunteering, you showing kids something, you drawing something, you got something to show that you are passionate about something.
Right.
Right? Because that's what they're looking for. It used to be just grades and SAT scores, but now they want to see the totality of your child, and they need to be prepared to show them. So those are some ways to balance this whole back to school, is making sure the calendars are in sync, making sure that you're having your family meetings, making sure that you're being proactive with your child's school, making sure your communication with your spouse is clear, because your spouse they're going to be your biggest accountability partner and your biggest cheerleader, so that when things get tough, Tony is very good to be like, oh, I got 5 papers to write. And so I'm usually like, babe, don't you got that paper to write? When is that due? You know, I usually get on him too. So why we last minute, you know, 2 a.m. I just turn it in tomorrow. Why? Like, I gave you all weekend. Or why did you wait so long? You knew it was 20 pages. Like, so I did. Look, he blinked hard. That means that I'm on his street.
No. But she's actually right, and I'm actually thinking about my class. Actually starts this coming Monday.
Okay.
And this class has a lot of papers to write. So I'm just like, I have to stay on top of it, because if I get behind on one paper, there's going to be a trickle effect. It's going to
be a snowball.
So I definitely going to need her to hold me accountable. I'm actually going to give her the syllabus so that she'll know the dates. We
can put it on the calendar.
We'll put on the calendar, you know, this paper is due, this paper is due, this paper is due.
See? You know? We got a college student in here now. He's like, I got my calendar right here. Because otherwise you won't, and you'll just, you know, you'll think, because Tony can pull all-nighters. You know what I mean? He'll be like, I stay up all night. You know, but that's not healthy. And he usually gets A's on it, but that's just not a good way to be staying up all night and all day working on a paper. So keep that line of communication, because your spouse will make sure, whether they seem like they nagging or not, they will keep you on track.
Yes.
So we discussed a whole lot. We discussed the Naya's project. We talked about birthing our dreams and not being afraid, and you know, just writing your plan, being strategic about things, and then getting prepared for back to school. Guys, this is almost the end of the summer. In like 2 weeks, we're at Labor Day, and that'll be a wrap for summer, right?
Exactly.
So enjoy your family. You know, every day, every hour, every minute that we have is not promised from 1 minute to the next. So make sure that you're spending that quality time with your family, birthing your dreams. All of those things are great, but always keep the main thing. Right. And keeping your family first.
And make sure you tell your family that you love them.
Yeah. So I'm Sunita Mitchell.
And I am Tony Mitchell.
And this is In the Mix with the Mitchells, where you can catch us every Thursday at 8:30 to 9:30. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, here on In the Mix with the Mitchells. Good night and God bless.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say it. Bye-bye. She always says, God bless you. Good night. Thank you guys for joining.
Guys,
Hey,
so much for
hey,
joining.
Lady Edie.
Hey, Jamaica.